Well, thank you for visiting with me again and to be in conversation with me about different topics. This channel is meant to be a little bit about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but we all know that I've got a wandering mind, and it will probably take a little bit of time before we actually get to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I'm first of all just going to touch on how this YouTube channel building is going for me, or progressing for me, and I must say it is very slow. When they say that it is hard work and that it is difficult, they are not joking. This week, I think it was Sunday evening, for the first time, YouTube pushed some of my videos, which was the Quacker Ducks was recommended, and it wasn't really even a good video, and the other one was the guinea fowls, because the first hatch of baby guinea fowls of the season appeared across the road from me where I feed the wild guinea fowl, and that one was actually in the feed. It was the first time that a video of mine was placed in the feed, and so McDavid said to me that he saw the guinea fowl on Friday, and that the little ones were already there on Friday, but there was a lot, because I said to him, there's only 7. He said, no, there's a whole lot. So the little ones already started to disappear, because when I counted, there were only 7 left, and yes, which is sad, but that's the way it goes. I know that that is the way it goes. Then the other thing which happened was that I actually realized that I've got no command of the English language. I am all over the show, and when I look back at the videos, then my tenses that I use are all wrong, and I am stuttering, and I think it's because English is not my first language, although there are some people that speak more than 2 or 3 languages fluently, but it is difficult to express yourself and have a fluent conversation where I am not sitting and somebody else is actually having a conversation with me, where there's some interaction, and you must ramble on all by yourself. Then it becomes very difficult to just keep on talking, and I have made notes so that I can get myself back onto track when I deviate too much. And now I've left my spectacles in the bedroom. I did make notes. I do not really want to read off my notes. I don't have a teleprompt. I don't know how I would do if I had a teleprompt. And I do make bullet points with some notes under the bullet points, but I don't really want to read it because I don't want to become the teacher that I used to be. I don't think it's nice to listen to a lecture, although the people do it very well on YouTube, I must say. They talk fluently. They don't the English is perfect, but you're not going to get it here, unfortunately. And I am using this hardboard clipboard, and I'm not going to go and buy a new one with a beautiful backing I'm going to use this one because this one belonged to my late father. As some of you know by now, my dad passed away about 2.5 years ago, and he used to love doing Sudoku puzzles. And this was his board, his Sudoku board, and that is the board I am going to use for my notes. And the notes are here. I'm not going to pretend that I'm wonderful and that I'm remembering everything off by heart, because I don't. I am having lots of COVID-induced brain farts lately. That's what I call it, because that's what it feels like to me, where things just leave my mind. It's like I've got no command over the English language anymore. I forget words, I forget things, I forget my train of thought. And I used to be known for my excellent memory and my excellent recall of, and the detail of things in the far past, but it seems like that is now not going to be part of my personality anymore. I had COVID 3 times, not in a row. It was Christmas a year ago. It was in November, because my mom got COVID in Christmas when my sister was here on holiday. So I remember that very well, and I wasn't scared that I was going to get it because I already had it, so I could look after her. And then I had, when was the second time? Late again, last year. It was almost exactly a year after the first one. And then I had another one in May, the 22nd of May to actually be precise. And it presented itself very differently every time, although it was also very similar in a lot of ways. But I was very, very sick every time. I always say that I only look at a person that's sick and then I will get it, just far more severely than they have been. And a stomach problem, a stomach bug, I can get over the phone. It is that bad. It feels to me like it is that bad. Yeah, I'm a little bit overkilled on my cheap jewelry today. But I thought, well, if Lady Colin Campbell can do it, then why not? I wasn't going to put the earrings on. I was going to have just little pink studs, and I was just going to bring this with as props. And I thought, well, I will just put everything on in one go, because she does. Now, I'm not trying to copy Lady Colin Campbell at all, because she's a lady, first of all. Second of all, she stays in a castle Goring. And thirdly, her jewelry are priceless. She keeps them in a vault. After they've broken into my house several times, I have vowed not to invest in expensive pieces anymore, because it just breaks your heart. They have stolen some heirlooms. My grandmother, one of the things that I will remember her by, she had a broad golden solid band which she always wore, and she had one made for all three, the daughter-in-laws, and for all the girl grandchildren, and they all looked the same, a copy of the one that she used to wear. And they stole mine. So my mom gave her one to me, and then they broke into my house and they stole that as well. Then with the insurance money that paid out, I bought a similar type of thing, because then you couldn't get those ones anymore. So I bought a similar type of bracelet, and then when they broke into my house, that was stolen again. So I only have cheap jewelry. So there's literally nothing of any value in my house. But then the thieves won't know it until they have broken into my house. So it's not like I'm keeping myself guarded against another breaking. Back to how slow it is to build the channel. And I remembered what I was talking about last time in mid-sentence when I've forgotten. I just could not remember. And that is that you can have, like I mentioned, you can have a faceless channel. And then you can have a reaction channel to other people's work, which I don't know how the copyright works on that. And then you can have a channel where you vlog and you show your face, like I am doing. And they say that these type of channels, the vlogging channels and where you show your face, actually has got the better chance to do well, because you interact with your audience and you build up a family or an audience that would like to see you, that sort of become part of your life and what you do, and they come back to interact with that, to see that. The problem is our society is geared towards youth, eternal youth, perfection, outer beauty, and when the aging starts to take its toll on you physically, your body, then unfortunately you've got none of that left going for you on social media. You don't have youth, you definitely don't have perfection, and time steals beauty from all of us. And I think social media has left us with the idea that looking more mature and have wrinkles definitely does not equal beauty, which is so wrong in so many ways, because every single person, like we all have the opportunity, obviously, to be birthed into this world, then you have the privilege of being young and beautiful. And unfortunately, that is also only a stage which is going to pass for the young and the beautiful. And then you're going to be where I am and my generation and older are at this point in time. And you're going to be faced with the same challenges. So I do not have those things going for me, which will make the people will come to my channel to see my beautiful body and all that. I'm also not at the stage where I can have children anymore, so I cannot vlog my birth processes on YouTube. That will bring the young mothers and the young families to my channel. So I will more be the channel of the old people and how difficult it is and how difficult social media has made it for us to embrace what you look like at this point in time, especially for those of us that do not have access to the money to work on ourselves, because you can, I suppose, fix it for a little bit of for a period of time. But life has thrown me a curveball. I always said that I will work on myself. I had no issues of doing some maintenance on myself, some panel beating. But then I had the heart attacks, and I'm not sure how well my heart will last under an operation that will put the body through some serious stress and of considerable length. Although after my colonoscopy and scope 5 weeks ago, I know that I can handle the sedation, because they do it under sedation. Apparently they don't put you completely under. Tummy tucks as well. If it's not like a major tummy tuck, they do it under sedation. So at least I know that won't be a problem. But that was only a half an hour procedure, and I don't think that they can lift your eyes. The operation's got a specific name. There is terminology for it. For under half an hour. And then the other thing is, if there's not an abundance of funds, then I would do stuff to my house that's falling apart. Because when you have a 30-year-old house, everything needs to be replaced. And that can be quite expensive, because it's not 30 years ago where everything was, now, if you think about it, very affordable. And now what used to cost like in the hundreds are now in the thousands. And yeah, so you've got that problem as well. But in any case, let me just see what okay, so these vlogging channels where you actually show your face, this guy said that it's also called a personality channel. He referred to it as a personality channel. And yes, just to come back to showing your face. So last night I thought I will do just a short, I'm still playing around with the videos and putting stupid videos up sometimes, because I am trying to experiment with the editing, to learn all the editing features on the app. And I paid for a year subscription for this video editing app that I'm using, because I just could not handle the ads. The thumbnail app is a different app. It's very straightforward, and I have not paid for that because I've got these ideas that I might go for something a little bit more complicated that you can do a little bit more with once I have gotten more used to talking to myself to a camera. Like the one girl, he said that's most probably the most difficult thing to do, is to sit and talk to yourself and to not become self-aware and self-conscious, and to be able to have these conversations with yourself. So she sorry, she suggested, is like Sunny sleep 7 sokke sout. We've got that thing in Afrikaans that you must say it as fast as possible, and then you will start falling over your tongue, and the most ridiculous words will come out. Well, she suggested that you must just do random videos talking to yourself. Just talk, 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 so that you can used to it, because practice will make perfect. But last night, for instance, just to give you a very good example, I phoned my eldest, no, I didn't phone her, I WhatsApped her, my eldest sister. Because using music, background music, is a huge problem on YouTube. I actually tried to load my orchid collection video twice, and there was copyright on the music that I chose to use for it. Although it did say that that music wasn't there was no copyright, or there was no royalty issue towards it, but I think I didn't give them the proper accreditation in my description, which I had to. And when I downloaded it, although I copy that, I don't know where the phone copies it to. So when I want to put it in the description, I can't go and find it to copy and paste it. So I ended up writing it out by hand. And I think that was one of those clips that I downloaded it, and then I couldn't remember where to go and find the accreditation that I was supposed to give to this specific artist. And I just deleted the video quickly, because I didn't want to get copyright strikes against me before my channel even started to get traction. And I WhatsApp Irina, and I said to her, I realized that I'm surrounded by extremely talented musical people, of which my sister is one, and then my cousin Shamel. She said she would do some tracks for me. And I also got another friend, Sich Schnittler. And I said to him, because I love guitar music very much, the Orchids had some classical guitar to it, which worked better than the piano music. I did end up putting with it eventually. And I just sent Sich a WhatsApp. I said, listen, you can most play guitar. Would you mind doing something like that for me? And he said, no, he wouldn't. He will come and see me, and he will bring his guitar with, and then he will do a few clips for me as well. Because, like I said, that is a complete different story. And then the one YouTube guy said, and I can't agree with him more, that the free music that they have for YouTubers to use, that doesn't have copyright to it, or that's royalty free, is horrible. It is horrible. And even though I'm not musical and not very talented to make music myself, having been in the music industry for a big chunk of my adult life, I at least know the difference between, you don't even have to be in the music industry or have a musical background to know what is nice and what actually fits with something that you look at visually, and what is just horrific to listen to. And so I WhatsApp Irina. I said to her, would you quickly play something for me, because I want to load up this video, and I'm going to tell you now why I loaded such a silly video, because I wasn't feeling very well and I didn't make any content. And I said to her, don't you just quickly want to play something? She said, no, it's not going to be a problem, I'll just give her a little while. Which she did. She recorded the bread and butter waltz. But her first attempt was a little bit, the volume was too high. So she actually said, must I maybe do it a little bit softer, which she did. But then I already edited the video with some other music into it, which I loaded up, which then passed the copyright and royalty-free test, because I did write the whole accreditation down in the description box, which I had to. It is really coming down now with the rain, and what is nice is that the wind is not blowing, so there's like a peacefulness to it. And so I will use Irina's recording when I do maybe my bromeliad plant collection or whatever, because just like everything else, my mind went into in gardening into having certain collections, plant collections. So I have a daylily collection, I have a bromelia collection, I have an orchid collection, and I think I have a no, I don't have a rhododendron. What's the other? Philodendron. I don't know what those plants are. When I do the my collection video on that, I will look up the proper botanical name for it. And yeah, so I end up having collections, which I think is maybe a little bit of a OCD mind, that you start with one thing and now everything must sort of fit into that same category. Yes. So back to the orchid collection and the background music to it. So I will use the track that she played for me when I do a video on some of my other plant collections. But I'm particularly proud of the orchid collections because it's problematic to grow orchids successfully. And I had some success. As we had a terrible hailstorm earlier this year, which never happens here down by the coast in Port Elizabeth, but it was, and it did damage some of the foliage of various plants in my garden, and some of the orchids were also damaged, and I did cut some of it off, 2 of them actually, and I think I made a mistake because it's not looking as if they are recovering successfully. And a lot of those orchids were bought at the orchid show, and I don't even know if they still have an orchid show in Port Elizabeth, and they are expensive. If I say that those special orchids are affordable, I would lie. They are expensive, so I'm trying to really look after it very well. And then I also looked at a this video is really about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I'll get to that now. If you get so far in the video, then yes, it is really about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But this is a conversation. This is having a conversation with me, and also getting to know me a little bit at the same time. And now I have lost my train of thought. It was, oh yeah, the orchids. I watched this video about the orchids, and because I used to cut the stems down. Once the orchids are flowered, I would cut the stems down. And you actually shouldn't, because next year the orchid will flower on that old stem. But she explained that it won't flower past the point of where the lowest flower was on the stem. So you need to cut the previous year's flowering stem off at that point. And I do think then in the end you will end up with a flowering stalk that's non-existent, because it will move down. Logic tells me that it will move down all the way to the bottom. And then the other thing with the indoor orchids is I do not know, and I'm not going to try, because I will probably break the flowering stem off, of which you wait a whole year for a flower to appear. So there's only X amount of times that you actually see a flower bloom in your lifetime, because it only happens once a year, if you really think of it. And part of it is your childhood, and you don't acquire all your plants in your 20s or when you move into a house. Not that plants will last that long. Most plants also have a limited lifespan. Let me not forget that. But you only have X amount of times that you can see a certain plant flower, if you really think about it, because most plants flower once a year. So I do not want to take a chance of then by accident breaking that new flowering stem off. and I do not know how to trail it like you buy it in the shops where they all sort of stand nice and tall in the center of the plant. Not a botanist, and I'm not a horticulturist, and I suppose the suppliers of those plants know exactly what they're doing. But I'm not going to throw a plant away after they flowered so nicely with straight up center stalks once. And so they start then to have stalks hanging all over the show. And I'm just leaving them like that because that's a more natural form of growing. But in any case, I must now go back to the YouTube on my orchid collection and asking Irina to play the background music for me. And she said, is my face going to show? I just don't want my face showing. If my face is not going to show, then it's fine. Then I will do it for you. I said to her, no, Irina, it's like an MP3 track. Your face is not going to show. You are going. I actually send her the orchid videos so that she can see what it was going to be about. But I just thought then, and I was exactly the same. And I mentioned with the reunion that they are organizing for our class, and the people placing photographs, and a lot of them placed photographs of a couple of years ago, and I didn't want to do that because the older you get, the quicker the aging process goes, and the quicker you change from year to year. It's not like a slow gradual process. You can see the deterioration happening fairly quickly. I got eaten by a mosquito last night, and I got bitten by a spider here on my right upper thigh, and so the aging goes very, very quickly the older you get, and that's a fact. So if I place a photograph of when I just turned 50, I might not realize it because I see myself every day in the mirror. But for somebody that doesn't see me on a daily, regular basis, that 7-year change will be huge, or 8-year change will be huge. So I did not want to put a photograph of a couple of years back on the WhatsApp group when they asked. I wanted to put a recent photograph, the way that I look now. Because it doesn't help that when I walk in there the 1st of March next year, then nobody recognized me, because now they see you in real life. It's not like you can Photoshop your photograph, or you are 7 years younger. You are now 58. That's what you are in your full glory. This is what you look like. This is what I look like at 58. And I didn't want to walk in there and then they ask, who's this person? Or maybe like half an hour into the event, the people will ask, now where's Sunette? Because they couldn't recognize me, because my photograph that I put on the WhatsApp group wasn't a true reflection of what I looked like, or was photoshopped till and gone, which is a trap that I also fell in on Facebook when I still was very active on Facebook, because everybody else is doing it. So now you feel, oh, look how ugly I look, look how old I look. And then I started to fiddle with my photographs as well, and I have made a decision about when, but I have made the decision. I'm not quite sure when, but I made the decision that I'm not going to do that anymore, because this is me. It's like the people that actually meet online, relationship-wise, and then they start a relationship with some of these people, and then when they actually get to this stage where they are so invested in the relationship and one another, and so in love, that they really now physically want to meet one another, And then when that happens, then there's normally disaster struck, because they often get there and the person doesn't even remotely look the way that they thought the person would look by speaking to the person. Because apparently there's some filters that you can put onto a video if you video. I must maybe experiment a little bit with that. I can't even get the YouTube thing right, so I don't even know how I'm going to go there. But I think there are some filters that you can put up that will make you look, I don't know what, not as old or harsh or whatever. Pardon me. But I made the decision that no matter how hard it is for me, this is what I look like. This is me. I am not trying to start a YouTube channel to meet men or to start relationships or to really impress anybody. I'm just alone. I'm staying alone, and this is giving me a little bit of purpose in my life, where I really have, I can't say I don't have any purpose, because I keep myself fairly busy with in and around my house. Although I don't run anymore, I'm a fairly active person. But the fact of the matter is, I am completely and totally alone. I am 57 years old. I don't really like to go out. I've almost become like a hermit. I don't really like to go out. And I know if you want to have friendships that you must put the effort in. Friendship is work to a certain extent. I know that relationships and friendships, if it's really meant to be and whatever, is not supposed to be much effort or hard work. But you need to put the time in to work on a relationship, to nurture a relationship. You can't really have friends and a relationship if you're not prepared to invest the time and the effort into it. And I really do not like to go out. I don't know if it has something to do with my health status and the fact that I'm really almost always tired. I don't always realize the level of my energy depletedness. Don't think there's an English word like that, but I will make that a word. Or the level of tiredness that I experience unless I tap into that energy reserve. When I do tap into that energy reserve and that energy runs out very quickly and doesn't replenish itself at the rate and pace that other people's energy reserves replace itself, that is when I realize that I am actually still sick, and I will probably never be a normal 100% healthy functional person like other people are. There are really very few days in a year, if it's 3, that I feel good. And when those days come around, I will often verbally express the feeling to my mom that today I think I feel like most other people feel every day of their lives, which is actually a sad state of affairs. And but the result of that is that I don't go out very often because I get too tired. And I also, to some extent, don't like people coming to visit me. I think I've touched on that before. It stresses me out to have people coming to my environment. It's almost better for me to go and visit other people than having people coming to visit me, because I've got a light cream. I'm in my lounge today, by the way. I've got a light cream carpet in my lounge. When I painted and my lounge and redid the lounge, I had the carpet clean. So my lounge is out of bounds for my dogs, not for my cats, because they can jump over the stuff that I put in front of the entrance to the lounge, so that the dogs can't come in, but the cats do. So my furniture is once again covered with throws, because cats have a tendency of vomiting up hairballs. Well, cats vomit a lot, and dogs will ask to go outside to go and eat some grass, and then unless it is an urgent vomit, they will go and do it outside. Or if I'm in such a deep sleep that I don't wake up, they will go and do it outside. But cats vomit everywhere, and then at least I can just take the throw and put the throw in the wash. But the carpet is a light cream carpet, and I don't think I have the energy to repaint everything if it is messed up. So now people come to visit me, and then I must ask them, please take your shoes off before you come into my lounge. And so I would rather them not come and visit me, or if they visit me, to not come visit in my lounge. It is just a ridiculous situation. But that is the reality of my situation, which I created for myself, which in a way I can't help. It's a brain thing, but that is what it is. And so in so many ways I prefer to be by myself, because talking to other people makes me tired. It to having to make conversation all the time, or to sit upright all the time, makes me extremely tired. And maybe there's also a trust issue, that through my life that I have learned that people cannot really be trusted. You cannot really depend on the loyalty of people, and people always treating you well or right, or yeah. So maybe that's also part of it. But the fact of the matter is, I am 57. I am completely alone, partly, mostly, out of choice. And I just decided that this is something that I would like to do. And I don't know for how long this will occupy my attention, or grab my attention, or how long I will persevere with this. As the one girl said on her YouTube channel, that if you start a YouTube channel, then you must be prepared to go through the valleys of death. Those are the valleys, the dips where you go in when nothing goes on with your channel. And in those valleys of death, you must not lose motivation, because most of the time it is in those death valley traps where you will lose motivation, that you will think, oh no, this is not worth it, I'm not getting anything right. But what did happen on Sunday was that YouTube, I think I already told you, YouTube actually started to feed some of my videos on the threads, and that helped a lot. So now people that's not subscribed already, which is very few, or in my circle of friends or acquaintances, people outside that will now start to look at your videos. So there is really something like the YouTube algorithm. And but I'm pushing videos all the time. So they say that that is what you must do. You must push, you must throw out videos constantly, 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 constantly. But as an old lady with not much going on in her life, what do you throw out as content all the time? Because you are basically depleting everything that you have that you can possibly show other people or talk about in the first stages of trying to get a YouTube channel off the ground by using up all your ideas for content, because you need to push out videos all the time. And unfortunately, at this stage, before you really have engaged with a specific audience or have built up a family or an audience group of people that would like to come back to see you or to listen to what you have to say or what ideas you have to share. And I'm going to have to divide this video in two. I'm going to have a part 1 and a part 2, because my Meghan Markle and Prince Harry video is already 51 minutes and 6 seconds, and I don't know if people will listen to my blabberings on for 51 minutes and 6 seconds. Why is it me and the S's today? I'm just falling over my words all the time, especially where the S is concerned. Now I've lost my train of thought. I'll have to pause. It's completely gone.